4. Reading and adoption of the agenda. 5. Unfinished business. A. Report from the Committee on Public Accounts and Audit on the findings of the Auditor General's report on the special reconciliation audit of the consolidated fund account balance as of January 17, 2024 and January 19, 2024 for discussion. B. Report from the Committee on Banking and Currency regarding the update on the implementation of the Joint Resolution number 001 of the Legislature for discussion. 6. Report from Standing Committees. A. Report from the Joint Committee on Public Corporations and Lands, Mines, Energy, Natural Resources, and Environment on the public hearing held with officials of the Liberia Electricity Corporation and the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission as regard to the complaint filed by Senator Amara Connell of Bapol County against massive low power shedding of electricity by the LEC. B. Report from the Committee on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Nat Beje, Assistant Minister for Technical Services Designate of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. Report from the Committee on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Arietta Berry, Assistant Minister for Administration Designate, the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. D. Report from the Committee on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Matthew Nyemblo, Assistant Minister for Information Services Designate of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. E. Report from the Committee on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Johnny S. Takpa, Deputy Minister for Administration Designate of the Ministry of Information, Cultural Affairs, and Tourism. F. Report from the Committee on Labor on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Eva Johnson, Assistant Minister for Regional Affairs Designate of the Ministry of Labor. G. Report from the Committee on Labor on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Rufus Polako Freeman, Assistant Minister for Administration Designate of the Ministry of Labor. H. Report from the Committee on Labor on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Emmanuel Zod Guinea, Assistant Minister for Labor Standard Designate of the Ministry of Labor. Okay. R. Report from the Committee on Labor on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Rufus T. Silly, Assistant Minister for Trade Union Affairs Designate of the Ministry of Labor. J. Report from the Committee on Lands, Mines, Energy, Natural Resources, and Environment on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Amara M. Kamara, Commissioner Designate, the Liberia Electricity Regulatory Commission. K. Report from the Committee on Social Security, Pension, and Insurance on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Councillor Murphy Cannon, Deputy Director General Designate, the National Social Security and Welfare Corporation. L. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights Claims and Petition on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Councillor Charles Camo, Deputy Minister for Economic Affairs Designate, the Minister of Justice. M. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights Claims and Petition on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Councillor Joel Ikanan Chewe, Assistant Minister for Economic Affairs Designate of the Ministry of Justice. N. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights Claims and Petition on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Councillor Cora N. Kolowa, Deputy Minister for Codification Designate of the Ministry of Justice. O. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights Claims and Petitions on the Confirmation Hearing of Honorable Councillor Aaron B. Backlin, Assistant Minister for Taxation Designate of the Ministry of Justice. P. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on the confirmation hearing of Honorable Councillor Massa Jalaba, Deputy Minister for Administration Designate of the Ministry of Justice. Q. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on the confirmation hearing of Honorable Anthony Edric Frabana, Assistant Minister for Administration Designate of the Ministry of Justice. Arrow. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on the confirmation hearing of Honorable Councillor Augustine C. Faya, Solicitor General Designate of the Ministry of Justice. S. Report from the Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights, Claims and Petitions on the confirmation hearing of Honorable Anthony B. Ramsey Zianka, Assistant Minister for Codification Designate of the Ministry of Justice. 7. Business on President's Day. Communication from the President of Liberia on nominations made in government. B. Report from the Joint Committee on the Joint Resolution GR001/2024. C. Communication from Senator Amara Conant of Bapolo County bringing to plenary attention on matters regarding illegal activities taking place along the Marshall Corridor. D. Communication from Senator Francis S. Dopo of River G County regarding the violation of the amended Chapter 85 of the Public Authorities Law of 1973, creating the Liberia Electricity Corporation in Executive Order Number 123, 8 AOB. Issue of MAF proffered by Senator Jonathan Borchard Survey of River G County. B. Issue of right-hand drive card in the streets of Monrovia, also proffered by Senator Jonathan Borchard Survey of River G County. C. Issue of global pharmaceuticals producing drugs in the country while drug is still expensive, proffered by Senator Jonathan Borchard Survey of River G County. D. Issue of betting booths at every junction of main streets of the country, proffered by Senator Johnny K. Behe of Gong County. And E. Issue of people accessing into the grounds of the Capitol building, proffered by Senator Momo T. Saros of Local County. 9. Adjournment. Madam Presiding Officer and President Pro Tempore, distinguished members of the Senate, the reading of the draft agenda for today's sitting.
Distinguished colleagues, we heard the reading of the draft agenda for today's sitting. What is the order of discussion?
Madam President and the civil colleague, after listening to the agenda just read, I move that I obtain the second that the agenda just read be received and open for discussion.
It has been moved and seconded that the agenda read be received and open for discussion. Are you ready to vote? All in favor say yea. Against? Agenda open for discussion. I think the President Chair.
Yes, President, as today on unfinished business, 5A to defer that item for 1 week so that we can have some informal discussion.
5A, that's the report from public account. President O'Connor.
I'm here.
So defer 5A for further discussion for consultation. In 1 week.
Next Tuesday.
Yeah, but
What can we bring it back for?
That's what you said. Senator Brown?
Thank you, Pro Tem. Distinguished colleagues, I'm calling your attention to agenda item 6K. Pro Tem and colleagues, we agreed in this plenary that because the issue of tenure positions were before the Supreme Court, we will not take further actions. Even we agreed not to debate any tenure matters on this floor. No, it says K. It says K. Social Security. So, I am moving that this item be taken off the agenda in line with our earlier decision. It violates our decision because this matter is still before the Supreme Court. We cannot make a decision to confirm this person. What if the Supreme Court says otherwise? What do we do? So, Pro Tem colleagues, I'm moving that this item 6K be taken off the agenda.
Senator, when our nomination was made, that issue was raised. And I think it was asked, the committee was asked if there were any legal issue before us. Because if it's not before us, because I think the person in our position was dismissed, if there are any legal issue before us, we should go ahead with that. We should have gone ahead with the confirmation. So we might want to hear from the committee.
No problem. I'm making reference to our decision.
It has to be before the Senate.
No, Pro Tem, on this flow, Pro Tem, with all due respect, my man, please.
Before I
dismiss the committee, I'm talking about the broad issue of tenure positions.
That was dismissed, and if anyone is dismissed in a tenure position, and
she was dismissed because of the same tenure.
So we have to know if that is challenged, and if we have anything legal before us, then we can make some decisions. Yeah, we need to know if it was challenged.
You are spoken, give me chair.
So we have any legal matter for that.
Pro Tem District Police. Information about police from Maryland County, I want you to be told. As far as the committee is concerned, there is no legal matter before this committee.
There are several legal matters for tenure.
Listen.
Not for dismissal.
This person was dismissed by the president. So we are taking our action. If we get it,
there's no legal matter.
No, there's no legal matter before this committee. There's no legal matter.
My brother, this is simple. The committee should get a class certificate.
Sure, we have it.
What?
We have it. Please.
It's not the issue. Order, please, order.
Okay, I'll be talking.
The committee should get a class certificate from the Supreme Court if that matter is before the court. If the matter is not before the court, the Senate plenary can decide for it. But if it is before the court, we should not even proceed further. That question was asked before. Do we have? Yeah. Okay, so we'll wait for the committee's report. We'll wait for the committee's report. Any other intervention? The committee report will be read and will clarify. Senator Dillon.
Thank you. I need clarity, Madam President. The agenda that we adopt is for record. 7B. 7B. Report from the Joint Committee on Joint Resolution 001/2024. What is it about? Everybody got the agenda for tomorrow without know what the joint resolution is. What is joint resolution about?
That will be rectified. That will be rectified. The agenda is already adopted.
No, we adopted it. So I want to know why I bought before I adopted the agenda, so I can know why I adopted it.
There's a report from the joint committee.
Oh, we joint committee on what?
Report on the transfer secretary agenda. Please read that and make that correction. Please read the new caption and make the correction.
Yeah.
Want to read the Cali version?
Yeah, when I read Cali version,
So while we're rectifying that, any other intervention? Any other intervention? Secretary Senate, you read it? Please read the new caption. Please read the new caption.
The report from the Joint Committee on the Joint Resolution for the establishment of an extraordinary criminal code and domestic corruption code for war and economic crimes, respectively.
Any other intervention is already clarified. If no other intervention, can we get a motion to adopt the agenda?
no move.
It has been moved and seconded that the agenda for today be adopted. Are you ready to vote? All in favor say yea. Against? Anybody say aside? Yeah, push it.
Communication from the President of Liberia on nominations made in government. Republic of Liberia, Senator Yomli Kanga Lawrence, President pro tempore of the Liberian Senate, Capitol Building, Capitol Hill, Monrovia, Liberia. Madam President pro tempore, I'm pleased to submit here with the following nominations pending Senate confirmation where applicable in government. Minister of Internal Affairs, Mr. Edward Molva, Deputy Minister for Research and Development Planning. 2. Mr. D. Manuel Wenyu, Assistant Minister for Research and Development Planning. 3. Madam Ellen Wright, Deputy Minister for Urban Affairs. And 4. Mr. Stanley D. Brahima, Assistant Minister for Communal Farming, all of the Ministry of Internal Affairs, and the President pro tempore and distinguished members, the reading of the communication from the President submitting nominees for Senate confirmation.
Distinguished colleagues, I have a communication from the President of Liberia nominating Liberians to the Ministry of Internal Affairs. What is the order of session? Motion, Senator Taylor.
Madam President, distinguished colleagues, having listened to the reading of the communication from the President of Liberia submitting nominations for consideration of the Senate, I move that the communication be received, accepted, and the appropriate instructions sent to the relevant committees to proceed with confirmation proceedings and report to the Senate. Accordingly.
We've already rested the motion. Are you ready to vote? All in favor say yea. Against? Motion carried. No one ready. Check it out.
Business of President's List. Report from the Joint Committee on the Joint Resolution for the establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. The Legislature of Liberia. Joint Resolution number JR-001-2024 of the Senate and House of Representatives of the Republic of Liberia on the mechanisms for the establishment of an extraordinary criminal court and a domestic corruption court for war and economic crimes, respectively. Whereas the various phases of the Liberian Civil Wars from 1989 to 2003 resulted in deaths of innocent civilians and destruction across Liberia, including the displacement of nearly half of the population, horrific abuses, including summary executions, massacres, mutilation, torture, rape, and other forms of sexual violence, enforced conscription, and use of child combatants, and whereas Chapter 1, Article 1 of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia vests power in the people of Liberia to institute by their authority and for their benefit the right to alter and reform their government when their safety and happiness so required. And whereas, for the safety and happiness of the people, the government of Liberia, pursuant to Article 57 of the 1986 Constitution, has signed all United Nations Conventions on Human Rights, treaties, protocols, and agreements, including but not limited to the Rome Statute of 1998. Thereafter, the legislature, consistent with Article 34F, has ratified all of the international treaties, human rights conventions, protocols, and agreements, including the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, to form part of the domestic laws of the Republic of Liberia. And whereas Article 34J of the 1986 Constitution vests in the legislature the power and authority to establish various categories of courts for criminal offenses and provide for the punishment thereof, and the creation of specialized courts, including the Extraordinary Criminal Court, is intended for the security of the state as in keeping with Article 34B, and the legislature is also empowered under Article 34L to make other laws which shall be necessary and proper for carrying into execution the foregoing powers, and all powers vested by this Constitution in the government of the Republic of Liberia, or in any department officer thereof. And whereas Article 13 of the Liberian Comprehensive Peace Agreement, signed on August 18, 2003, provided for the establishment of a Truth and Reconciliation Commission, the TRC, to provide a forum that will address issues of impunity, as well as an opportunity for both victims and perpetrators of human rights violations to share their experiences in order to get a clear picture of the paths to facilitate genuine healing and reconciliation. And whereas the Liberian legislature enacted the Act to establish the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Liberia, the TRC Act, in 2005, formally creating the TRC with a mandate to promote national peace, security, unity, and reconciliation by investigating gross human rights violations and violations of humanitarian law, sexual violations, economic crimes that occurred between January 1979 and October 2003. And whereas the Liberian TRC submitted its final report to the legislature on December 19, 2009, recommending the establishment of an extraordinary criminal code of Liberia, an international domestic code with authority to prosecute individuals accused of gross human rights violations, serious humanitarian law violations, and certain domestic crimes. And whereas Section 48 of the TRC Act provides that, quote, the head of state shall report to the legislature within 3 months of receipt of the report of the TRC, and on a quarterly basis thereafter as to the implementation of the Commission's recommendations, unquote. And where the implementation of any recommendation has not been compiled, or the legislature shall require the head of state to show cause for such non-compliance. And whereas successive governments of Liberia have not fully implemented the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission to date, including the establishment of an extraordinary criminal code for Liberia, due to many technical, legal, and constitutional issues arising from the TRC report, and controversy on the actual intent of the TRC as contemplated by the warring factions, African governments, and the civil society who negotiated the Accra Comprehensive Peace Accord. And whereas the United Nations and other international partners have experience with the creation and functioning of war crimes courts, including courts with international and domestic participation and expertise. And whereas the legislature notes that certain constitutional and legal prohibitions have to be considered in the establishment of an extraordinary criminal tribunal for war crimes on Liberian soil, and several processes and broad consultations have to take place to derive the best product for the prosecution of war crimes. And whereas the legislature also notes that economic crimes, including corruption, committed between the period 1979 and 2023 and beyond, are cognizable under domestic criminal jurisprudence and in domestic criminal codes. And whereas the final report of the TRC contains other recommendations besides the issue of war and economic crimes, which are yet to be implemented. And whereas the United Nations Human Rights Commission in July 2018 expressed with regard to Liberia, quote, concerns that none of the alleged perpetrators of gross human rights violations and other crimes mentioned in the TRC report has been brought to justice, unquote, and urged Liberia to establish a process to bring about accountability for past crimes and report back on the issues of impunity and accountability for Civil War era crimes by 2020. And whereas up to 2024, no such report by the government of Liberia in fulfillment of its international obligations has been produced and provided by the government of Liberia to the UN Human Rights Commission. Now, therefore, it is resolved by the Senate and the House of Representatives of the Republic of Liberia in Legislature Assembled. 1. That justice should prevail and there should be no impunity for those who bear the greatest responsibility for war crimes, crimes against humanity, other violations of international humanitarian law, and other domestic crimes which occurred during the Liberian civil crisis. 2. That pursuant to Chapter 1, Article 1 of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, which vests in the people of Liberia the right to alter and reform their government when their safety and happiness so required, and the executive, consistent with Article 57, has signed all United Nations Conventions on Human Rights, treaties, protocols, and agreements, including but not limited to the Rome Statute of 1998, all of which the legislature has ratified under Article 34F. The legislature supports the full implementation of the Truth and Reconciliation Commission recommendations, including the timely establishment of an extraordinary criminal code for Liberia to be known as UN-backed, quote, Special War Crimes Code for Liberia, SWACO, unquote, to prosecute those who bear the greatest responsibility for war crimes and crimes against humanity committed between the period 1979 and 2003. 3. That consistent with Article 34E, B, J, and L of the 1986 Constitution of Liberia, the executive shall develop a legal framework and submit same to the legislature for enactment into law for the establishment of an anti-corruption code, ACC, under domestic jurisprudence for fast-track trial of those who will be investigated and subsequently indicted for acts of corruption and other economic crimes committed from 1979 to 2003, and such crimes committed from 2004 to present constituting constitutional rule. This fast-track corruption code shall remain the primary code for the dispensation of justice for corruption and other economic crimes going forward, in line with Liberia's penal code and prevailing international laws and standards. 4. That the President shall write the United Nations, the European Union, and the United States government expressing the government's intention to establish the extraordinary criminal tribunal on Liberian soil and thereby request financial and other assistance, develop a financial resource mobilization, and submit it to the United Nations, the European Union, the U.S. government, and other international partners to seek financial economic support for the establishment and operation of an extraordinary criminal tribunal on Liberian soil or alternatively to a country to be designated. 5. That the President shall report to the legislature as to the progress made on the establishment of the two codes, as well as challenges, if any, or outcomes of his engagement with the United Nations, the European Union, the United States government, and other international partners regarding the resource mobilization plans and results, including domestic resource mobilization through the budgetary process pursuant to this resolution. 6. That consistent with Chapter 2, Article 5C of the 1986 Constitution of the Republic of Liberia, the President shall issue an executive order to establish the Office of War Crimes, OWC, within the Ministry of Justice, and appoint forthwith a special envoy or officer in charge, duly certified by the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands, or the African Court on Human and People's Rights, or any other international courts and tribunals with the relevant experience, qualification, competence in international criminal law and practice, to organize and coordinate all actions and activities regarding the court and assist the President to mobilize resources and do all that is legally feasible, including the establishment of a secretariat, where applicable, to facilitate its operations and the successful implementation of its mandate, among others. Done in consultation with the UN, the European Union, the United States, and all other independent parties. And 7, that to jumpstart this renewed campaign of national reconciliation and healing as the final phase of Liberia's recovery process, the President shall implement the following recommendations of the TRC. A. Offer apology on behalf of the state to the men and victims and the people of Liberia in general for its role in the conflict and for the injuries and losses sustained by individuals and communities. B. Work with the United Nations, the European Union, the United States government and other international partners to set up a reparation trust fund, RTF, for victims and communities was affected by the conflict to benefit through direct financial assistance or through development programs and projects. C. Continue the National Palava Hub program and other programs for national healing, peace building, and reconciliation. And D. Construct a national monument to commemorate the victims of the atrocities, to serve as a reminder of the war and to create a national consciousness against armed conflicts. Wherefore, members of the Senate and House of Representatives hereunder affix their signatures. This is date of April AD 2024. Signed, members of the Senate. Senator Sir Hallie Joseph of Masurado County. Signed, Senator A.B. Darius Elon of Masurado County. Signed, Senator Youngly Kagal Lawrence, President Pro Tempore of Grand Bassa County. Signed, Senator Councilor Augustine S.G. of Sando County. Signed, Senator Creighton O. Duncan of Sando County. Signed, Senator J. Grebo Brown of Maryland County. Signed, Senator Simeon B. Taylor of Grand Cape Mount County. Signed, Senator Daba M. Vapla of Grand Cape Mount County. Signed, Senator Prince K. Moy of Bong County. Signed, Senator Johnny K. Cleary of Bong County. Signed, Senator Zoe Emmanuel Pennant of Grand Julia County. Signed, Senator Thomas Yaya Nimen of Grand Julia County. Signed, Senator Councilor Joseph K. Jala of Lopa County. Signed, Senator Momotis Saros of Lopa County. Signed, Senator Edwin Melvin Slow Jr. of Bonny County. Signed, Senator Anthony J. Alex Tyler of Bonny County. Signed, Senator Anthony J. Emmanuel Lukwe of Margibi County. Signed, Senator Nathaniel F. McGill of Margibi County. Signed, Senator Albert Tubeche of Grand Brook County. Signed, Senator Lumini T.H. Batukwa of Grand Brook County. Signed, Senator Jonathan B. Sowe of River G County. Signed, Senator Francis S. Dopo II of River G County. Signed, Senator Boto Cannon of Babur County. Signed, Senator Amara M. Conan of Babur County. Madam President Pro Tempore, the presiding officer, distinguished members of this esteemed body, the joint resolution AR 001-2024 of the Senate and the House of Representatives of Republican will appeal on the mechanism for the establishment of an extraordinary criminal court and the domestic corruption code for war and economic crimes, respectively, has been duly signed by 23 senators.
Yeah, Pro Tem, I have a question.
1 minute, Senator. Distinguished colleagues, 1 minute, Senator. Distinguished colleagues, a resolution has been read and with 26 signatures, 23 signatures. I'm pleased to announce that the resolution has been endorsed by the Senate and it requires no difficulty signatures. But we ask that all senators who have interest in making a comment will make a comment before we conclude and forward to the House of Representatives for concurrence. We'll start in order of counting. Senator Johnson will get to you in that order.
I'm not going to the depth of what the report said. I just want to find out from you why you didn't refer this to the member county to sign or reject. Why didn't you refer to us to sign or reject?
I personally spoke with Senator Johnson.
Pardon me?
The entire
Now bring it here, let me sign.
The entire Senate was
Bring it, let me sign. Church, yes. The UN compound, the Bristol compound, the Jefferson massacre, and
thank you so much. These are four that deciding in one time. Well, every senator will have the opportunity to make a comment. We are about to vote for that session. No, the resolution has to be done. They are being done. So you are giving the opportunity.
Stop, man.
You know you didn't do that.
Don't become a Why you trying to sleep at the judge?
Distinguished Senator, we have a motion to endorse the resolution. So if anybody needs to sign the resolution, you can approach the presiding to do that before endorsement.
What's that the team, man? What's up, what's that the
So new senators from Lower Service County, the two other senators as low, 23 senators previously signed the resolution. So Senator Prince Johnson just made it 24. And if Bill Twaway of Rosses County and endorsing the law with the establishment of the So 25, I can see. That's 26 now. But 2 other senators just signed. So 26. The Senate is made of 30.
Will I get a motion to endorse Senator Topo? We'll make the motion to endorse the resolution.
Listening to the reading of the resolution, joint resolution, with the overwhelming signature and giving the importance of this issue to the culture of impunity, and that the Liberian people are all witnessing this event, hoping for a better outcome. I move that obtain a second that this resolution, having been signed by majority member of the Senate, be endorsed by the body and sent to the House of Representatives from the Court.
We've already stepped the motion. Are we ready to vote? Are you ready to vote? All those in favor, please raise your right hand. Against? Motion carried. Abstain. The motion is carried. And then Senate, please communicate to the House of Representatives. So we have a roll call and give every senator the opportunity.
The resolution has been concluded and the representative received a communication from the license for the agenda conference following Senator
Benson Gafune will also signed. So earlier on we had 26, so now it's 27.
Madam Presiding.
Yes, he's in.
Guys, come down.
Just calm down, Mike. Just calm down.
Madam Presiding and fellow police.
How many minutes?
Please protect me. Thank you. Madam Bizali and fellow colleagues, let me first of all say thanks to members of the Senate, because by our constitution we were elected by the people. And today, decisions that were made here today have been issues in the news media internationally and locally. People have said senators were against the signing or the approval of resolutions that was sent by the Honorable House of Representatives. And today, colleagues, we have proven what have been said against this valley is wrong. And this is why I want to say thank you to all of you for the positions that we took. When the war came in 1990, staying out of this country for more than 20 years as a refugee, today being back home as a national leader in helping to make decisions for the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Code, attained some history for me personally. This decision does not haunt any personal person or any individuals. The decision taken is based on what happened in our country and making sure that history will not be repeated again in our country. So, honorable members of this body, I want to say thank you as we move forward, and we look up to the executive as they move up to those decisions. Thank you so much.
Senator Abraham Darius Dillon. 1 hour, sir.
Madam Pro-Tem, distinguished colleagues, today marks a historic day in the history of our country. I would like to start by commending your courage, your leadership, and the courage of my fellow colleagues, senators, for this decision that will go down in history. Kindly, today should send a message that it begins, they mark the beginning, the end, to the culture of impunity. Our action today should send a message that indeed no crime should ever go unpunished. Today should mark the beginning to send a message that bad behavior will be punished no matter how long, no matter how far, no matter the age. Today is that beginning. Today is the beginning of the time to cast away this general view that this Senate did not mean well for this country and our people when it comes to accountability. I want to thank you. Thank you, fellow colleagues. On behalf of the people of Moscow County, home and abroad, in particular, Liberians in general, home and abroad, We take humble pride in our signature on this resolution, demonstrating our courage and will to see this court, to see this action. Any one of us who have thought that we will go unpunished, any one of us, to the beginning of the end. And so we want to say thank you. Accountability will open this country. Our demonstration for accountability to end the culture of impunity will open the country to opportunities. And it will curtail bad behavior. So that if 10 person wanted to do bad, 5 will say, it will do it no matter how long. It will catch up with us. Deterrent will be set. Thank you. God bless you.
From Bassa County, Senator Basanga M. Finley.
Well, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, I believe that there are issues that our country has been faced with over the years. There is no family almost in this country that didn't have a member of that family, whether extended, long-term, or short, close, that was not a perpetrator, that was not a victim of the war. There are causes why we got to where we got to. And for me, I did have a town hall meeting, I think it was 2010. I was in the Senate then when the TRSC report came out. More than 90% of those members in the town hall made it clear to me that we should reconcile the country, and at the time they didn't feel that was necessary for a war crime court. That was about 14 years ago. I stand here today, yes, I've signed a resolution, but I hope that this will bring an end to the suffering of those who have survived the war, to bring to the attention of the world that yes, Liberia is ready now to move forward. And Madam Pro Tem, my distinguished colleague, I must be honest with you. That as for me, I believe that we should have done a referendum to have the majority of the Liberian people vote on this issue, rather than a handful. 4 members of the TRC report out of 9 made this recommendation. 5 didn't sign that report. However, we have decided, we have made a decision. I don't know how many of us have read the TRC report in this country. But we are now taking a position to come to the world to say, give the opportunity to those who have perpetrated this war against humanity to come and present their case. And we must be honest. We must be honest to say to the rest of the world, that yes, this court must be a court that will administer justice, fair play to all Liberians. I want to take this opportunity, Madam Pro Tem, to thank you and to thank my colleagues, thank the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And we look forward towards President Boyka establishing this base for this court, raising the resources for this court, so that this matter be put behind the Liberian people. May God bless all of us. Thank you.
Sano County. Senator Councilor Endorses and Chief.
Pro-time distinguished colleagues, this resolution that we appended our signatures to and endorsed is an important milestone for us as leaders of our country, and in particular the Senate and the legislature. And so as the chair of the committee tasked to work on this document, let me give a pat on the back to ourselves first, and to say thank you, Madam Pro Tem, for your leadership. Yeah. Essentially, what we've done by this resolution is to concur with the House of Representatives that we agree to establish a war crime code in Liberia. And not only a war crime code, but an economic crime code. The resolution from the House suggested the establishment of one code, which is a war and economic crimes code. But in our wisdom, we thought that it would be unwise to proceed in that direction, because there could be some constitutional and technical realities ahead. So that probably will envision the establishment of the extraordinary war crime code outside of Liberia. But if that would be the case, then of course we should have the economic crime code established in our country under our domestic jurisdiction. It will not be possible to do the two at the same time. So we separated the two. And of course, in the preamble, you see that ours far different in details compared to that we came from the House. And as to the contents, it's the same thing. We change, almost everything. It's like what we have here is our version of that took into consideration all of the ramifications and legal technicalities. And so the document that we have, we can assure you that irrespective of where it is taken, it will withstand legal challenges and other scrutiny. And so again, colleagues, let me say thank you for your support, and let's work on this. This will bring closure to this very ugly chapter in our country, where our people were massacred without accountability. And that accountability will ensure that justice is done to those of our compatriots that were massacred and lost their lives during the war, so that this will bring closure to them, that they will have justice, that the family will have justice, that our country will have justice, that we'll move ahead as a country in peace, recognizing that in this country we'll do nothing and nobody will commit a crime and go with impunity. Thank you.
Senator Quinto O'Duncan.
Thank you, Madam Pro Tem and police. Initially, I had a different approach towards the way, or I call it running to peace, in setting up, in making this decision to concord with the House of Representatives. What I've been observing during my years since I was born in this country is that what matters to us are sometimes cherry-picked. The War Crime Court, it is my hope that it will bring a sense of peace to the victim in this country. Likewise, the action that is being seen by the joint resolution, it is my hope that the House of Representatives and the House of the Senate will have the same energy to address issues that are killing our people, that are keeping us in poverty, than just running to please our partners that wants to see this war crime court being established. I say to you, I remember the visit of former President George Bush II when he visited West Africa. He gave Liberian books when Liberians were in dire need of financial stability. And to me, I felt that was an indication that we Liberians need to read and advance our ability to be able to help our people. What bothers me is, during the same visit of Bush, the former president, a 10-lane road was constructed in Accra, Ghana. With the relationship between Liberia and the United States, knowing how this country was established by the free slaves that was taken from the west coast of Africa and taken to the United States, and went under 300 years of suffering. And today, Liberia has no reparation, but we are existing as a people. I want to bring to your attention, Honorable, that I remember Samuel Doe was crying for the help to open our coastal highway. And they told him, according to the former president, the late president, that it was too expensive to build our coastal highway. And he asked them, if it is expensive today, will it be cheaper tomorrow? President Tubman, when he was asking to build this Capitol building that we are on today, he was told it was too expensive. I can assure you that running to please is a culture that we have as Liberians. And I hope that the books that was given to us by Bush should be read to improve the way in which we think. I also want to tell you today, as we are fighting, that we be able to stop this culture of impunity. I also say there's a culture of impunity that when we, the Senate, sit and see that in a year time, 7.8 tons of our gold leave this country every year. 7.8. And I can assure you that 1 ton of those gold costs 65 million United States dollars. I hope that this approach of running to please that brought us together so fast in order to make this decision, that our decision should be as energetic as it is in order for us to solve the issue of our country as we are running to please. Now, if you calculate, it is over 500 million United States dollars that is being exploited through our country just by gold. And when you ask, they tell us that to harvest or to dig the gold is very expensive. So the Liberian government only have 10% of the profit margin. And in that profit margin, we are told that there is no profit because digging of the gold is expensive. I just want us to continue to unite as we're uniting to make sure the War Crime Code comes. Because I know we have to please. But I pray that this sense of energy that we have be redirected to the resources of our country and be able to fight for our people to take them out of poverty. Thank you very much.
Maryland County. Senator J. Rebel Brown.
Julius Malema.
Pro Tem, my distinguished colleagues, it is almost 21 years when we, the people of Liberia, assembled in Ghana to sign the Accra Peace Accord, to bring an end to the killing and the destruction of our homeland. Very importantly, in the CPA was the issue of the TRC. The intent of the TRC was to address issues of impunity and provide a good opportunity for the healing and genuine reconciliation of our people. Unfortunately, after 15 years of the submission of the final report of the TRC, we are still debating what to do with the recommendations of the TRC. Distinguished colleagues, I, as an individual and as Senator of Maryland County, I do not support that individuals who cause the massive destruction of our infrastructure and economic assets, wantonly kill innocent citizens and foreigners, systematically rape our mothers, our sisters, and daughters should go with impunity. I believe they should be made to account for their actions. And this is why I, as an individual and as Senator of Maryland, I signed the resolution that is calling for the establishment of the War Crimes Code as well as Economic Crimes Code. Distinguished colleagues, in my opinion, the establishment of these two codes alone will not bring us the peace that we so yearn for. We must adopt a holistic approach in our search for peace in our land. The government of Liberia, with or without the TRC report, should identify programs of genuine peace and reconciliation throughout Liberia. Colleagues, there are other instances, there are other occurrences in our homeland that are beyond Liberians. There are some incidents that occur during a crisis which perhaps we cannot pin to Liberians to prosecute. As we find closure to our ugly past, what do we do with some of these incidents? I'll give a classic example. The capture of our President Samuel Kanyo Doe at the Ecomo base. Why are you looking at the rest? President Doe was not captured on the battlefield. The story is told that President Doe had gone to the Ecomo base to pay a courtesy call on the force commander of Ecomo. Upon his arrival, President Doe, along with the Special Security Services and the Armed Forces of Liberia, were ordered to be disarmed.
That's the story.
Few minutes after the disarmament, heavily armed rebel soldiers led by their leader, led by their leader, arrived on the base. Why Doe and his people were disarmed? The report goes that in the presence of Ecomo troops, colleagues, this is very serious. In the presence of Ecomo troops that provided security not only at the base but the entire country, the rebel soldiers began to kill, hunt, and kill people on the base, not on the battlefield. Doe was eventually captured and pushed up to a base in Carwell. Therefore, he was tortured brutally and killed. My point is, those who killed Doe, of course, at that base, they will answer at the court if they are named. But my recommendation to the Liberian government, whilst it is true that we owe a debt of gratitude to ECOWAS, would it be wrong if Liberia can ask ECOWAS to set up a commission of inquiry concerning the circumstances that led to the capture and killing of Doe on their base? Would it be amiss if we do that? I feel no. As a nation, we want to find a closure to our occupiers. As we sign this resolution today and pass it, my recommendation is the Liberian government should request ECOWAS to set up a board of inquiry, a commission, to investigate the circumstances under which the late president under their security was captured and killed. I'm pleased that today I'm part of these ceremonies. It brings relief to the victims. I was a victim. Pro-tem colleagues, I stand here today by the special grace of God. 2 days after the capture and killing of Doe, I sought refuge. I was in Carwell. I was in Carwell. Oh no, Douala. While walking on the street, I was captured and put in a trunk of a small car, as huge as I am. My only crime was my face resembled that of Doe. And I'm giving a testimony to say that so many other Liberians died like that. While I was being arrested, told some of my clothes taken off, I saw a colleague driving the LC truck from the base, Kawa base.
Who base that?
Our friends. Then I called to him. I said they are taking me because they say I'm a brother of the I look like though. Then he said, yes, I know you, but yeah, your face on the door. When he said that, the soldier said, in fact, we're not taking you on the base anymore. We're taking you behind there to kill you. Then my wife said, my wife was with me, and she said she stopped crying at that time. And then she said, in the name of Jesus, I challenge you, my husband will not die. I give this testimony because maybe God spared my life to give this testimony. So they took me off the road to the base. The last horse to the swamp. Yes, please. The last house to the swamp. They called somebody else to join them to go kill me. And that person was the person who I knew. And he was part of them. He was one of the commanders. Whenever I passed St. Paul Bridge, whatever I had, I would give some things. So this man came rushing to go kill me. When he saw me, he stopped. So I said, John, you made me up. You know you know me. I'm not a crime man. I'm not a dual brother. Then he said, yes, I know you. They said, I give me a long when I shot. Then they said, okay, we'll find somebody who you and him will speak Gribble. If it is true, we'll let you go. I said, yes. Instantaneously, I'm telling you, someone appeared that I have never seen in my life. That man appeared and he was never afraid of those people. He said, I'm a Roman. Where he came from, I did not know. So I walked to him, shook his hand, excuse me, I said, Awia. And he spoke the identical dialect that I speak. That's how I was saved. So we are all witnesses. We all have our experiences. And so today, finding closure to this process is a good day for all of us. But I think as Liberians, we need to go beyond the signing of resolutions. As senators, we need to support peace and reconciliation processes in our counties. Whatever resolution we sign, if our hearts do not agree to forgive one another, we'll not have peace in Liberia. Thank you. May God bless you.
Senator James P. Barney.
The shoe for red, that makes them brothers, that shoe for red, don't go.
Distinguished colleagues, today is yet another historical moment in the history of our country. And we all hope to steal a moment to be part of this history. Impunity has never been a place in the city last year. In simple terms, those who commit atrocities must face justice.
Yep.
as a civilized country, whether you committed heinous crimes during the war or after the war, you must face justice. And we subscribe to that. What we believe is that the administering of such justice must be within the confines of the Constitution of our country. Just as we are expected to punish those who commit crimes, especially the ones who committed heinous crimes during the war, so are we expected to respect and uphold our Constitution. That means any court that we seek to establish must exist under the Constitution of our country. I'll read two provisions of the Constitution of our country. Chapter 5, Article 34E. Chapter 5, 34E. And I'll read chapter 7, Article 66. 4E. The legislature shall have the authority to constitute courts inferior to the Supreme Court, including circuit courts, claims court, and such other courts with such prescribed jurisdictional powers as may be deemed necessary for the proper administration of justice throughout the Republic. The resolution did not mention that such court would be amenable to the Supreme Court. On the basis of that, I have a reservation. Article 66 of the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. It's a matter of information. Oh, okay, all right, I got it. It says the Supreme Court shall be the final arbiter of constitutional issues and shall exercise final appellate jurisdiction in all cases, whether emanating from courts of record, courts not of record, administrative agencies, autonomous agencies, or any other authority, both as to law and fact, except cases involving ambassadors, ministers, or cases in which the country is a party. In all such cases, the Supreme Court shall exercise original jurisdiction. The legislature shall make no law, nor create any exception as will deprive the Supreme Court of any of the powers. Why I support the establishment of the court, I would prefer to wait until the act that would evidently establish the court complies with these two provisions. When that act or the bill complies henceforth, I will vote in favor. In the absence, we will be setting a stage for people elsewhere to determine what is justice. And we cannot support that. In such case, that will not be justice. Because like some of our colleagues said, it was not only Liberians that participated in the war and committed atrocities. International accomplices must be brought under the jurisdiction of that court. And if they have the authority to determine who comes before that court, then it's a charade. And so, I feel the pinch of those
who have undergone the treatment, injustices associated with the war. When we talk about economic crimes court, I do support. But the bill will determine the scope, and on the basis of that, I will vote. If it is a court that is established to just prosecute Liberians who the thing stole, and they who have pillaged the covers of our country and our resources are not part of it, what's the point? What's the point? See Nimba. Millions and millions of iron ore have been removed from Nimba, from bone mines. How qualified are they to determine what is economic crime? How qualified are they? They make us to believe economic crime is just about those who steal from the government coffers. What God has endowed us with is our natural resource. For more than almost 200 years, our country is being depleted. Gold, diamond. The thing about it is that they come and say, we'll give you this percentage as your dividend besides taxes. But you gotta make profit for us to have dividend. They've never made profit. They've never made profit. They take millions and millions, see the country. How qualified are they to tell us what is justice? I do agree, the country cannot make progress if there is no justice. But you who know it must exercise it. We must take this in our hands. We must prosecute people who continue to live freely. If you kill anybody before the war or during the war, and somebody else kills after the war, you all committed murder. If the Supreme Court yet can handle murder cases now, any court we establish must be amenable to the Supreme Court, not to them. Not to them. That's my point. And Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, I agree with my colleague from Simon that the same enthusiasm that we've all gathered with to push for the court is that same enthusiasm that we must use to defend what God has given us as resources against those who are exploiting. They are encouraging us to violate our constitution. And then, when it comes to them, it's not a violation. It's not a violation. They will sanction you. We cannot do this, see the country. Rich country, poor people. Rich country, poor people. And we are the ones who are making the decision, not the ordinary people in the street. It's not the ordinary people in the street. So, Madam Pro Tem, I support it. But we must, in my opinion, establish that law. There's a resolution. Resolution is just to say, we agree, we want it. Others do not know, this is not why we established the court. The court has to be established by law. And from what I've read, which is not a part of what is in there, the court must be confined to the constitution of our country. The economic crimes we are talking about is continuing. And people come and say they employ thousands of people. See around, I had the opportunity to visit several mines. We're talking about economic crimes. Several mines in Ghana, operated 100% by Ghanaians. You reach there, it is immaculately clean. You can never find one piece of paper. It stretches almost 8 miles. The towns, the villages around the mine are becoming cities because the benefits flow to them. See all of our mines here. If that is not economic crime, what is economic crime? What is economic crime? We must develop the spine. Yes, we agree.
I will put my hands around you as you speak.
We must agree to a means of justice. But it cannot be as blanketly defined. Arrest and await for the debate on the act so that we support justice in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you.
Frank County. Senator Sila Waman.
Thank you. Madam Rota and colleagues, I'm glad to be part of this. I think my signature to the resolution that has to do with the war crime court. This resolution tells us that we have agreed for the war crime court to be established. But I would say that I would look forward to see as to the war crime court being established on the soil of our land. The war crime court should be established here, not elsewhere. Because when we talk about war and economic crime, we must first ask how Taylor was released from America. How did he come to establish the war in Liberia? Who supported him to bring war upon our people, and our people die and destroy the economies of this country? How did they have him? There should be across the board 50-50. Those who supported the war and those who fought the war should be brought to that court. And that court should be established here. And the strength of that court should not be above the Supreme Court. Should not be above the Supreme Court. That court should be brought here and established here and supported by those who say they will support the court. And I hope that the president will speed up the act that has to do with the establishment of the war crime court. And so I've expressed my agreement to the resolution, and I look forward to receive the act that has to do with the war crime court. Thank you.
Senator Tapa M. Papla.
Thank you, Madam Protean, and I beg your indulgence, distinguished colleagues, to allow me to sit as I provide my view on this issue because of my leg injury. I am glad to be in the Senate, the 55th Senate, to participate in this discussion that has lingered for years since after the resumption of stability in our country. Succeeding governments and administration have been asked by our citizens time and again for the establishment of the War and Economic Crimes Court to investigate allegations, especially those of crimes committed during the war. Today, I see it as an opportunity for the step taken by this Honorable Senate, where a majority of its members have a fixed signature as a support to the establishment of said court. I see it also as an opportunity to those that are alleged violators to come before a court and exonerate themselves. As we know, in Liberia, individuals are perceived guilty as charged, even without due process.
So I think it is in favor of the country and its people and those alleged for the establishment of this court to give them the opportunity. The culture of impunity has been a practice in Liberia for years, to the extent that the people of this great nation have lost confidence in some of these processes. We all know in our communities that when crimes are committed, after it comes to light or it is reported, you hear among our people that after 2 weeks that will die. I think this step is commendable. It is the beginning of rebuilding trust in our system. It is the beginning of ending impunity. And I just want to call upon my colleagues that while it's true, war crimes court is very important to the sustained peace of this country. But what is also important is how can we unite to prevent further economic exploitation of our minerals. Some people have spoken about the economic exploitation that continue to rock our country. My own dear Cape Mon County, the Western Liberia, Bomi, Bakulu, and other mineral endowed counties are experiencing similar exploitation. What are we doing? God has endowed us these minerals to benefit us and our community. Cape Mon especially has been a source of significant amount of minerals in this country. Iron ore, diamond, gold. But if you went to Cape Mon today, the communities are so depressing. No sign of economic activities because all of our minerals are leaving without any benefit to our communities and our people. My dear distinguished colleagues, this is a very good start. And I want to urge all of us to approach everything that has to do with the development of our country with such energy as we have approached this resolution. I am glad, on behalf of the people of Cape Mon, to be a part of this discussion. Having joined the Senate in less than 3 months, this is a milestone action, and I am here prepared to engage the debate when the bill is presented to establish it. I thank you, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues.
Senator Prince Yamumoy, Bong County.
Thank you, Mr. Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues. I think by signing the resolution, I have clearly expressed my interest for the establishment of World and Economic Crime Court in our country. And I go further to say that as a country, once we have decided to pursue this path of bringing an end, a closure to the issue of war and economic crimes in our country, I think we can summon all the insurmountables for this court to be established. So it is our collective efforts that want to make it, where it will come in conflict with our Constitution. I'm sure there are always a path that we will follow as a country to have these objectives achieved. So, Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, I will always be willing and supportive of this venture because my people in Bong County want to know about the Buruba massacre. They want to know about the Batala Cobra-based torture. They also want to know about the Samir massacre and the Bodota massacre by LPC. So I'm on an obligation to sign off on it and to ensure, not only signing, to ensure that these activities that were carried out during the crisis, that the victims can have some relief, that the people of Burpa would not be reminded just by seeing the score under a Palawa hut that was built there, so that they themselves will have some benefits to resettle them, to ensure that their livelihoods are again protected once they are living. Thank you.
Senator Timothy Queen, Bond County.
Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleague, today I'm so grateful to be part of this signing ceremony of the War Crime Code. If my grandmother was alive today, she would be one of the happiest. Knowing my orientation, knowing my age back during the war, my grandmother was elected on a Palava hut where we all lost fought, and she was burned to ashes. I'm a direct victim of the war. All through the war, I never had time to even leave this country after all of the war. Today, the establishment of War Crime Code, and I am part of that. I'm so grateful to God that at least those perpetrators accused can come to justice, otherwise they can come and exonerate themselves from what have been said about them during the civil crisis. We will wait, like the other senator has said, to assign, to receive the act, for which we will be part of, and to discuss the issue and the debate, to see the causes that will be into the act. I also join hands with the senator of Kema County, Sando County, River G, that not River G, but Sando County, that brought all the issues of unity. But Pro Tem, your administration of recent or the past 3 months have proved to us that your leadership is one of the best. And we believe that under your stewardship, what you are doing, you should continue what you are doing. What I just said and proper to this body, we can say to you that we should hold together when it comes to us making key decisions for our people, for which we were elected for. The issue of War Crime Code in various counties, like Honorable stated in our county, when you pass in every corner, every attached center, every business corner of area, our people are there crying and yearning for this one War Crime Code. They should see us as two bulldogs, as senators here, that we only come here and just sit and not to talk. All of the issues before us, we're not listening to them. Let us give them the opportunity for which they have been yearning for, that we want the War Crime Code. Let us establish the War Economic Crime Code so that those people that are part of those things can be brought to justice and our people can have a better say. To other issues in the country, if for any reason that we, as senators here, Madam Pro Tem, and district colleagues, that we have issues among ourselves, if possible, we will have some issues that were brought to the plenary and they need to be discussed. But there's another thing I want to tell you, to please give some ears to the senators when they are saying some things to the floor. Thank you all so much.
Senator Prince Y. Johnson, Lima County. Senator Zulu Emmanuel Eno, Rajita County.
Thank you. Madam Pro Tem, District Police. Pro Tem, I'm one of the happiest presidents in Liberia today. If not, Pro Tem out of work. Being the senior victim of the Civil War from 1990 to 2003. My father was the first person that was killed. Freeport of Monrovia, like my colleague from Maryland just said. When my late father went with my uncle, Samuel Doe was my mother's youngest brother, one man, one pa. Yesterday, my mother turned 80 years And today, that justice for our brother should be heard. So where my mother is right now in the house, she's the happiest person today. The Stringer police. 1990, the late President Samuel Doe, when we talk about the Constitution, that Supreme Court, the Constitution, it's the same war from 1990 to present that we're talking about. Our Constitution says, and I quote, if the president is assassinated, the vice president should take over. But in the case of the late President Samuel Doe, when you are turned over by the Air Force and Air Command Forces on the ground to Prince Ward Johnson and NPFL members, when he was assassinated, the Constitution went there that RAF, may so rest in peace, RAF Moluba should not take over. The same people that wrote the Constitution also may so rest in peace, Dr. Emo Claudius Sodium, condemned the Constitution, and never followed the Constitution. And he came as interim president. So today, on preaching Constitution, I think the same war from 1990 that I want to continue. So let the Constitution set apart and let's discuss the war crimes. The Stringer police. You see Senator Johnson and I sitting side by side. Before I came in the Liberia Senate, or in the House of Reps for the past 15 years, all of my good friends are people from Niba County. The now President of the Senate, His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, General Bankum, former Representative Garrison Yelu, and others, including the Senator. We've been into IT. We brought peace among ourselves. The two counties, Grand Jide and Nima. It's not the Liberian government that brought peace among us. We realized our mistakes. And today, we are coexisting in our various counties. If you went to Grand Jide, you'll see thousands of Nimalians in all of the towns and villages. And I can assure you, some Nimalians are town chiefs in some towns in Grand Jide County. We have people with hospitality. And in Nima, every time when I'm in transit to Grand Jide, when I reach Ganta as 8, I'm Israeli. All of the sons and daughters of Nima County, through their brothers and sisters in the legislature, we are made good friends. So all of us, we are working together. But however, indictment does not mean that you are guilty. All of our police that took part in the Civil War, yeah, it is prudent that they could be established. I signed yesterday when one of my police called me and said to me, Senator Plenty, why are you? I said, I'm getting ready to come to Capitol building. He said, okay, please come and so you can sign. So I just signed what? He said the War Crime Code resolution. I said, I'll be there in 15 minutes. From Mantalia, I told 12 minutes. Check to sign for my late uncle and my father to rest in peace, to know that they will get justice. And other Nigerians that were murdered during April 6, 1996, well, we know how anywhere to turn besides going to sea, and God came to our rescue. Out of the 16 tribes in Liberia, 15 attacked one tribe, but today we are surviving and we stay alive. So, thank God to the same international community. When we were small, in the past, they told us, oh, the international community supporting the war law. The war will not finish. The war will not do this. Every one of us accused the international community bringing former President Charles Taylor to Liberia to destabilize the country. Today, the same international community, they want those people not to go impunity. So, bravo to them. They will laugh, they are not crying today. And who laugh the last, you laugh the best. Today, we were crying in the 90s. And now, again, let me extend my thanks and appreciation to the rescue team. Because they won't work around code. I've been in the legislature for the past 18 years. Today, the rescue mission that came through United Party government, today, the legislators talk about resolution. Back then, we talk politics. If you say World Grand Coast open, people will not vote for you. But today, rescue mission, they are proving the Liberian people they really came to rescue the Liberian people. So bravo to all of you that be able to reach that level today. To politics from reality. To politics from reality. So the people of Grand Juda County say bravo to all of you that have signed the resolution, and we are asking all of our police, if you think that the war ground code beside the resolution that was signed, that will play politics with it, to go to the president to say, oh, what we did down there, don't mind, you do it at your own risk. Because all of us will put pressure that my signature will not go on paper and it will not be implemented. So nobody will think that days of political thing that we are doing as usual. And good thing about the rescue mission, they said, and I quote, that is not business as usual. So for rescue mission, we need the party-led government to lead us to this process. The district police. So if I want to join, nobody can stop me and make it better president. So I agree with my colleagues that talk about the war crime code and economic crime code. We should separate. Today, thank God I grant you that. They put them out there and have been touched. And we'll use our police, they will help us. The same way people are doing it in Ghana, grant them will be different. Our people will benefit. And we're asking all of you, today, Bombay County town with Bombay Hills. Or instead of Bombay Hills, they say Bombay Hills. Good for them. But Grand Juda will benefit from Putu Mountain. So, the Australian police, I'm appealing to you, let us take politics from this particular resolution. Thank you very much. So move.
Senator Yaya Nina, Grand Juda County.
Grand Juda County, that's Senator Yaya Nina.
Distinguished senators, thank you very much. Yesterday, I think I was one of 3 persons that initially signed this resolution. Amongst all of the senators here, I am one of the principal signatories to the Accra Peace Accord. My question to all of us, are we ready? Are we sure that we are ready for this work round? Because I like to quote Alfred Adler, who says, and I quote, all behavior is looked at from what people do. From the time we signed this Accra Peace Accord, and we asked for TRC, South African style, and we came back to this country, you give us something different. When you investigate a case as elders in a village, when you say, John Brown, you are wrong, the first person you go to is you go to the victim. Victim, you are sorry. You are very sorry. You wrong this man. This man wronged you. That's the first place you go to soften the victim. So we asked for TRC. They all came in and organized a commission. The TRC says you will go to the villages and towns, get your counselors to interview victims. When you gather information, then you will come to the perpetrator and tell the perpetrator, for example, Thomas Yaya, namely, you innocently killed 25 people in Israel. We want you to assemble Israel at so time to face the victims. Then I will go there with my people who will say that the victims will come. And David would say, so you killed my mother. And then I would ask him, you killed this woman? And he would say, yes. And I said, sir, I'm sorry. He said, no, I'm not going to forgive you. That information will be recorded as we travel around the country. It is not the commissioner that will sit at whatever building they sat in the last time and they say, you guilty, you guilty. How do you know that I'm guilty? Nobody went to these villages to talk to the victims. Have we talked to the victims today? Our justice will have sought a broad way to move on. They came here, they put their documents together. 4 out of 9 signed. So we signed this document today, and 23 people signed, and the other 6 did not sign. So the 6 that did not sign, are they the one that will approve this document? 4 out of 9 signed. The other 5 commissioners did not sign. So today we are running with the document from TRC Commission with the 5 signatories, and we took it to legal license to begin to prosecute people. So my question is, are we ready? I remember when I was Foreign Minister, Alan White came to my office. And he asked me to sign a document that had to do with child slaughter, and I said, no. Child slaughter is not our problem, it's your problem. And they took child slaughter and took him to the Hague. It was not Liberia's problem according to the UN. Came to Monrovia here and started gathering witnesses and paying witnesses to go and testify against child slaughter.
Is it true or false?
Well, you will find the evidence. It was not just child slaughter, no, my dear brother. People that were apprehended in London, in London and other countries, they put them in jail and they pay witnesses to testify against them, and at last they stayed 2-3 years in jail and they were free. And they were free because the witnesses were paid. Are we ready? Three weeks ago, this war crime code came on and the radio stations were bombarding for war crime, for war crime, for war. And I said in my office, can we take care of first thing first? Crimes cannot get ratting. Nuremberg from Israel, Nuremberg cases been tried for 50 years. This arrest government has said that they want to do business first. We are still employing and doing confirmation hearings of your ministers, deputy ministers, assistant ministers. We are currently working on your budget. You don't have a dime, not a red copper, to go anywhere and prosecute anybody. And we are saying, let's deal with the hungry people. We got 5 million people that are hungry around this nation. We got 5 million people that are sick and they want to go to hospitals and there are no medications. We got 5 million people that are traveling without roads to go to the west of the country, the north and the southeast. This is what you ran your campaign on. That you want to take care of the people first. You and I have been in government for just 3 months. And you decided to bring war crime code. Are we ready? Are we ready? You in the opposition during the time of CDC, you have said that CDC was corrupt. And the investors out there in foreign countries they say, yes, CDC is corrupt, we are not going to Liberia. We're going to hold our money until Joe Biden comes to power. So they held their money. Liberians have been going up and down without employment, waiting for you to come to power so they can be saved. And you came to power and the white man started and said, you know what, Joe Biden is in power, I'm getting ready to go. Then the first thing you said, I'm bringing war crime code. Don't you know that investment and capital is a coward? Wherever there are problems, no investment. So you decided to call the white man to come and bring problem to this country. And I said, and I recommended. I said, wait for your turn yet. Wait for your turn yet. Let the children start going to schools. Let everybody open your roads. Let them forget about us. When they forget about us and the children eating their stomach full while they are sleeping, you can come and carry me. And you insisted that you want to do what Branco. Can you handle these two burdens? I want to take this time to thank my colleagues. I thank you for signing this document. It is overdue. It is overdue. If these people are bringing $200 million for war crime court, I was hoping that the arrest mission would have said, bring $150 million, let me start looking after my people. While I'm looking after my people who will carry the other people, there will be nobody to ask you a question. But you want to sell your country. I thank you for signing this document. And that's why myself, I signed it, and everybody else signed it. Let's see which one you want to prioritize. Whether your 100 days or your war crime court.
Senator Leon Lemon of Liberia.
Senator Chancellor Joseph K. Jalal Lupakan.
Okay, thank you, Madam Pro-Tempore of the Senate. Let me thank my colleague for this great day. Before I became a senator, I campaigned with a no to war crime court. And my reason were in two phases. One was that I was speaking as an advocate, and two, I was speaking as a lawyer. My lawyer argument was that at the Accra Peace Accord, the Accra Comprehensive Peace Accord agreed to a South African Star TRC. You know what the first speaking? So, the Accra Peace Accord subscribed the South African Star TRC. So, it made it easier for my campaign. But more than that, the Liberia was a highly contested zone in the war. The help for Igilimo came. The late GB Promas came from local. Then you also had the help of local defense force. Honorable Francois Massacre came from local. Then you also had the MPFL group. So Lofa was a highly contested zone in the war. But when the South African Star TRC was agreed to, I said, well, it became easier for me. But the reality had changed. I'm a state senator for Lofa. I'm no longer a senator from one part of Lofa. I'm a state senator, the reality had changed. One world leader said once, domestic conditions are the basis of change, and external conditions are the factor for change. Those two things must combine in the global village we now exist. Because of the external factor and our domestic condition that there was a war, I have changed today to stand under the War Crime Code. So, we have to now go towards and look towards the implementation of this phenomenon, of this decision. As we go to the enforcement of this instrument, which will go in different layers, we want to give it our full faith support. And so, without making long matter short, I want to tell the people of Lofa today that I have changed from a position. Because when one drives a car in one gear, you will not have a car for a long time. You will have a gearbox problem, and the car will be parked. So this is my appeal to my base, my constituency, that we are making decisions with the rest of the country and the international community combined to bring about peace and stability to your country in particular and the country at large. Therefore, this is the situation, such is the time, and such is the condition. Let me thank all of us for making this great decision to sign onto air, including myself. I thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Mahmoud T. Sarah.
Thank you so much. Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, the media, international observers, ladies and gentlemen. Today is a historical day for Liberia, in particular the Senate, because there has been too many informations around that the Senate Pro Tem in question and the senators are trying to kill the resolution from the lower house. Today, that information seems to be proven wrong. But let me start my comment firstly by appreciating the President of Liberia, His Excellency Ambassador Joseph Mbaka, for elevating this war crime and economic crime code to this level. I mean, we have had governments who spoke about war crime code, but to elevate it to this level where we are on the path of beginning to establish war and economic crime code in this country. Let me, in this open manner, appreciate our protest as well for the leadership she continued to exhibit at this Senate. During her administration today, the 9th of April, we are discussing war crime code after signing a resolution. Thank you, Madam Putin, for your leadership. Let me also use this opportunity to extend my appreciation to our colleagues here, for mustering the courage to sign on this resolution. I'm aware that there are two schools of thoughts on this issue, for and against. But for me, as Chair of National Defense, Intelligence and Veteran Affairs, that was in fight, asked by the Pro Tem to be part of this drafting of the resolution. Let me say to us all that this is a better beginning for a happy end. This is a better beginning for a happy end. I've heard colleagues talking about our resources being stolen by big hands. I agree with them. But this house, this 55th house, has the authority and the power to change that narrative. Because this is where laws are made. This is where concessions are signed. We have to accept what is happening to us, whether it was in the 50th legislature, whether it was in the 49, whether it was in the 51, whatever it is, it was the House of Senate that ratified and agreed to all of these concession agreements that saw our country bleeding. So we should bleed ourselves as Nigerians. It's not the international community. The international community did not sign an agreement. Our people signed. So we shouldn't scapegoat. Our problem is ourselves. Our problem is ourselves. Having said that, in my wisdom as a senator from Lofa County, when this debate started, I drove to Lofa County. And I had consultative meetings on the radio. and asked my constituents, what's your take on the issue of war crime code in Liberia? Majority responded that we must establish the war crime code and economic code. The reason is that Lofa was one of the counties that suffered serious losses during the war. I lost my father because his house got burnt by illegal factor. And as soon as he heard that news, he said, huh? And that was the end of him. He died. So as the Saracens feel latches of the war that took place in Liberia. Today, Liberia is called, or is known as a country with growth without development. The way we have mustered the courage to sign this resolution, can we as senators muster the courage not to allow any bogus concession to pass through this house again? Can we, as senators, can we encourage that no bogus concession pass here? Before a concession passes this house, can we scrutinize it and feel and make sure that the Liberian people benefit from the resources? So the issue is us. Madam Pro Tem, thank you so much, fellow colleagues, for this opportunity. In my opinion, and in my closing remark to this Senate, I think this is the beginning to undo the past and do the right thing for Liberia, and Liberia will benefit after this war crime code is signed and implemented. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Bobby County. Senator Evan Melvin Slow Jr.
Thank you, sir. Madam Pro Tem, distinguished colleagues, well, let me start first by letting the record reflect, because when you go now on the social media, there are different accounts as to how many persons signed. So let the record reflect that out of 29 senators, 28 senators have signed. And even the one senator that did not sign, give a reason why, based on the Constitution, and when it's clear, he will sign. So it shows that the Senate in its totality have an agreement on the establishment of the War and Economic Crime Code. Having said that, Pro Tem, let me start by thanking the President for mustering the power to mention the establishment of War and Economic Crime Code in this inaugural address. Let me also thank you, Madam Pro Tem, for speaking to your colleague senators, giving us reason to sign a resolution for the War and Economic Crime Code. For Pro Tem, I want to thank you and the President with a caveat that if the President's inaugural speech and your plea or discussion with your fellow senator is just a political charade, then please withdraw my signature. If you mean business, let's do business. Nobody should play politics with my signature on the War and Economic Crime Code in Liberia. Want it? Let's go for it. Nobody should tell us, oh, it was just because we wanted to please people. No. When I got in session today, someone sent me a picture from the front of my back and sent me a message and said, Mr. Allen White, who is here, is witnessing your session. And those that will not vote for the War Crime Code will put it on session. I want to say today, if I knew Mr. Allen White was going to be here, I wasn't going to sign. I wasn't going to sign because I'm not signing this War Crime Code to please Mr. Allen White. And if Liberians will be 30 sanctions, I'm happy today Mr. White see where we went from. He's here in our session. Because he wants the war. Whether it's a decision of the US government or it's an NGO decision, we don't know. We'll sign it because we want, or it's our decision, we sign it. But let me state some facts. In 1980, Liberians were placed on firing squad in this country. Behind the barrel, they killed. And after that, the government that killed those Liberians got more budgetary support from the US than any other government got.